So hey guys, welcome to my channel or welcome back. My name is Sinful Dolls and today I wanted to talk to you guys about some things that I kind of hate about the doll collector community. Honestly, this is a video that I've been wanting to make even before I officially made my channel. It's just so much stuff that has been on my mind that has changed since I was initially first in the doll collector community. And I apologize if y'all hear me like clacking on my keyboard. I do apologize. I just had a random burst of energy and decided to record this video. This video is probably going to be overlaid on top of me like possibly doing some doll restyles. I don't know just yet, but I just need to get these thoughts off my head because I just saw something that like triggered me and I was like, let me go ahead and record this audio. So yeah, just a warning. So I'm going to be ranting about some things in the doll community, and yeah, if you like this kind of stuff, you know, stay tuned. So I'll start off by giving y'all some background on me as a person. I am one of those sort of old people in the doll collecting community. I am in my late 20s. I'm 27. I just turned 27 in January. And I have been a doll collector all my life. I was raised by a mom and a grandma who, my grandma is like 78. My mom is like about to be 61, and they have been lifelong doll collectors. So I kind of followed in their footsteps. Took a little break, but I'll save that for another video. And I just recently, I've taken like breaks from doll collecting like several times, and this time I've gotten back into it for once. But yeah, and the doll community has changed a lot over the years since I've been involved in it. Honestly, when I first got into the doll collecting scene was like when I was in high school, around 2013, and it is a different landscape than it was. The doll lines that I was into at that time, Bratz was already like done and like they had like two new cycles by that time, I think, because the Bratz I grew up on, we all know what happened with that. And shortly after that, Monster High went through their whole thing. So me taking a break from doll collecting, and like I think I stopped collecting around like 2015, 2016, maybe a little bit before that, I don't remember. But coming back and realizing that all the lines that I enjoyed back then were gone. I got back into collecting last year, I think, like 2022, 2021. When I heard of like Bratz coming back is when I started getting back into collecting, because I've been a Bratz girly all my life. And then I learned about Monster High G3, which I was kind of like about at first. But yeah, and sorry I keep saying but a lot. This, like I said, this is a very on a whim decision to make this video, just like whatever. I do have notes from before, but like I said, the doll collecting scene has really changed since I was heavy in it. Scalping is at an all-time high. The things that people do for dolls, like, oh my god. And I'm gonna tell you right now, this video is gonna be all over the place. Like, yeah, I do have notes that I took for the topics I want to talk about, but the reason I made this video is something I just saw on one of the platforms that I follow for doll news, doll updates, and just doll stuff in general. And it's basically a problem that I've noticed in the doll community from new collectors. And it's not to shade new collectors. I feel like we all get involved in doll collecting at different points of our life and for different reasons. For some people, it's healing that inner child. Some people, it's just for the sake of nostalgia. Some people, they like the art of dolls. They like doll fashion. You know, some people, they like doll photography, and that's how they get into it. Some people just like new stuff because it's popular. Like, I mean, like, be for real. But the thing that I have seen a lot with newer collectors that I feel like is creating a bigger issue for lifelong collectors or people who collect because they like dolls is the need for some people to have things just to say they have them, and the willingness to spend an absorbent amount of money on things just to say they have it. That is one issue that I've noticed a lot with newer collectors that I really hate, because so many people are so, they want something just because, and they're so willing to pay ridiculous amounts of money to say they have something, that it ends up hurting the rest of us. Now I'm going to go more into this point when I talk about scalping and resellers in the community. Like, and don't get me wrong, I'm not opposed to scalpers, or like, oh hell no, sorry, I am very much opposed to scalpers. I don't support scalpers. I don't like scalpers. I'll never agree. But I'm not opposed to resellers if you're a reasonable reseller. If you're a reseller who literally only cares about a profit, and you take away from other people having things simply so that you can profit, I don't like you. I don't like you at all. I don't support scalpers, and I misspoke. And because one thing about it is I don't do that. I don't like that. But yeah, so back to my whole point that I was making with this is, the whole reason I came here to make this video today is because I saw a post on one of the forums that I'm on, where this person was like, should I buy this doll lot? And maybe I shouldn't go into so much detail, but I'm gonna go into detail because I want y'all to understand why I feel the way that I feel. And this person posted a lot of dolls. They posted a lot of Brat dolls. I'm gonna just be for real. They posted a lot of Brat dolls, a lot on, it was like an eBay listing, I think. And they were asking in the forum, they were like, should I pay this amount of money for this lot? Now, this lot that they posted was literally, wait till y'all find out how expensive this lot was. It was over $900. 900 US American dollars, with like $80 in shipping. So that's damn near $1,000. Excuse my language. It's damn near $1,000 for some Bratz dolls. And it said in the listing that there were $119, but if you look at the image, there was probably $20, $30. I didn't count them. I'll insert a screenshot. And I clicked on the post because I'm like, first of all, why do you need strangers on the internet to justify or validate you spending almost $1,000 on some Bratz dolls? That's the problem. That, like, number one, that's the problem. Because if you need to ask for somebody else's justification to do it, that's probably a sign that you don't need to be doing it. But the second issue for me was, clearly this person, like, and it's no offense to this person, but I'm gonna just be honest, it's like, people in the comments pointed out, do not buy this, there's not $119 in that listing. And somebody else was like, I'm pretty sure this is a scam because I've seen that same image on several sites, like advertised, like like advertising it. And I'm just sitting here like, imagine being so thirsty to have Bratz dolls that you're willing to be scammed out of over $1,000, because there's gonna be taxes on that lot, baby. There's gonna be taxes. So in the end, you're probably gonna end up paying a good $1,020, like, for some Bratz dolls, and you didn't even take the time to count and ask questions to see if you were really getting what you're about to pay for. And the fact that you probably would have been one of those same people to buy that lot of dolls and get scammed, and then come on here and be like, oh, don't buy from this person, they're a scammer. And it's like, no shit. Like, y'all, people have to be better about their decisions. And it brings me to, like, what I was saying at first is, I noticed this in the doll community, is a lot of times people are just so thirsty to have something that they're willing to let themselves be scammed out of big money just to say they have it. Because I'm not one to speak on people's finances or anything like that, or, like, we're all, well, I would hope all adults. And I hope that, if you're not an adult, if you're spending your parents' money or allowance, I would like to think that you're making smart financial decisions, like, even when you're buying, dolls, even when you're collecting. There's nothing wrong with being financially literate and making good decisions with your money, but you didn't even care enough about yourself and your money to check that listing and be sure that you're getting what you're paying for. But you were so ready to blindly spend that much money without even knowing if it was a good deal or safe. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's just crazy to me. And I've noticed, like I said, like, and it's no offense to these people, but I've noticed a lot of people in the community, especially newer collectors, they just want to be able to say, I have this huge Bratz collection. And it could, like I said, it could be, they want to heal their inner child. They weren't allowed to play with Bratz as a kid, or, they weren't allowed to have them, or whatever, their parents, whatever. But it's like, it's not that serious that you have to have them, that you're willing to do that. Now, me and mine, I'm never going to spend almost $1,000 on Bratz. I don't care if I have it. I don't care if I'm a billionaire. I'm not buying a lot of Bratz. Used, secondhand, rough and tough, looking like, I don't know. The Bratz weren't even in good condition. And I'm not paying that much. I'm sorry. Like, maybe I'm not a real collector. I don't care. But I like to make good financial decisions, and it's never going to be spending almost my rent or mortgage on secondhand dolls. And not for that little bit anyway. Like, I'm sorry. Inflation be damned, but it's never that serious. But yeah, and that takes me into the next point about, like, with scalpers and resellers is, again, there's so many, and it's not even just a Bratz issue. I noticed this in the Monster High fandom too. But it's like people are so eager to have things. And I think this is also, like, I'm gonna get into this point too, but I think there's a lot of competition sometimes in collecting. And it's not just in the doll community, because I collect Squishmallows and Funko Pops, and I collect a lot of, like, Sanrio, Hello Kitty merch. And some people just have this thing about them where they have to have everything, or they see what other people have and they want it for themselves, so they're willing to spend as much money as possible just to say they have it. And I'm just like, I don't know, maybe it's because I grew up like super broke as a kid. Like obviously, like, we had, our necessities in life. Like, we had a house, we had, food all the time. But, and obviously I had a lot of toys and stuff, but we didn't, like, ball out on things that we didn't need. You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't go crazy for stuff that weren't necessities. We didn't spend thousands of dollars on things unless it was something that we really needed in our house, like appliances or something. You know what I'm saying? So maybe it's just the growing up broke in me that's like, yeah, I'm a splurge, but I'm going to also make reasonable decisions with my money. But I don't feel the need to compete with other people. Like, yes, I am on Dollstagram. I used to be heavy on Flickr back in my, like, early collecting days. I was heavily involved on, like, Flickr and stuff. And honestly, when I was on Flickr and stuff back then, I was definitely, I would see the collections of the people that I followed, and I was like, dang, I wish I had saved all my dolls from when I was a kid. I wish I had this big collection. But I am a strong believer in, you don't have to always break the bank to have things. And I also feel like it's okay to not be like everybody else. Like, just because there are people who have a collection of like 8,000 dolls and they're all dressed up and on these pretty, well lit shelves, you don't have to have that. Now, if you want it, sure, but if you want it just because somebody else has it, that's ridiculous. Like, that's not normal. And that's, do you by all means. But if you only want something because other people have it, that's a problem. That's really a problem. And like I said, that's a problem that extends beyond the doll community, because I also am involved in, like, makeup communities and stuff like that, and other communities. And it happens in those too. Like, people see other people getting things, or they see people getting attention for what they have. And it's human nature. People be jealous. People be like, I want that attention. And people will literally be like, well, I'm gonna, do this so I can get this, what this person has. And I feel like a lot of that feeds into people being willing to pay any price to these scalpers and these resellers just to say they have something. And this will be the same people that'll be like, oh, like resellers and scalpers are evil, blah blah blah, but y'all give them money because you want something that other people have, instead of just waiting for it to come down in price or waiting for it to, you know, be sold somewhere else. Y'all are willing to pay like thousands of dollars to a scalper just to say you have it first, because you know if you post it first you're going to give more views. Which, like I said, this is something that doesn't just happen in the doll community. It happens in the beauty community, hair community, wherever community, because that's just how social media is. When something new comes out, people are going to flock to who has it first because they want to know, is it worth my money? Like, what is it looking like? Whatever. And of course, people know that's going to drive the views. If you're the only one that has something, people are going to look to you to see what it's about. They're going to always go to you. So it's normal, but it's like, if nobody buys from scalpers and resellers, they will have nothing to sell. Did y'all not learn from the Sony PlayStation situation? Like, let's be for real. Like, if it wasn't for that, people would not be selling this stuff for as much as they are. But because they know some of y'all are so desperate to have things that you're gonna pay for it, they're never gonna go out of business. So we're always going to have to deal with resellers and scalpers in the community because some of y'all can't just do without stuff. Like, you gotta have it. So yeah. So I think I'm gonna split this up because I don't know. We'll decide later if I'm gonna split this up or not, but I'm not done. So we actually are gonna split it, and I'm gonna do a part two because I feel like I went on a long like rant, and I don't know if YouTube will allow me to do that long of a video just yet. So in part two, we're gonna talk about overconsumption in the community, the reason that scalpers are allowed to continue doing what they're doing, like companies not stopping them. I'm looking at you, Mattel, as well as the preying on nostalgia, which I think is another big issue in the collector community. But yeah, I'll see y'all in part two. Bye. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this and you want to see more. I'll see y'all in the next one.